Okay, let's. This is just going to be a short video that presents to you the course completion plan. So there's this amended syllabus, and I just want to talk through it just a little bit by way of having an introduction to the second part of this course, where we're exclusively going to be online. Yeah. So just so you know, every one of your courses is supposed to be doing something. Presenting you some sort of documentation about how the course is going to complete, because most of them weren't designed to be online. I assume your online courses probably don't have to do this, but that's the first part there. I do just want to mention that the midterm is going to be delayed. I spent our spring break week getting stuff ready for us to do online class when you came back. I did, as part of my planning for what we're going to do to complete the semester, look through the exams. I think it's all pretty good work. I don't see any problem with us not reviewing that material. What I will do when I finish grading it is give you another sort of recorded video that describes what any major concerns or minor concerns were, and just do a quick refresher, but it won't be required or anything. So I'm not worried about anyone's grades. I think everybody's going to be about where they expect, and I think we're in a good position. I guess the main thing would be, as long as you hand in all of your work and do your best on all this stuff, I think we're all going to have really good grades in this class. So that's about all I have to say about that until I can get through those with actual marks. So as you know, we're going to be online only. The meetings are asynchronous. That means I'm presenting stuff and posting it, and it'll be up to you when you consume it. Not entirely up to you. You'll have a long window of time to get through your material, but that's how we'll do it. So what I think the best way to do this is each Wednesday in the semester, ending with Dead Week, we'll have what we call a new weekly module. I'll post it, and the main thing will be that we'll have this module guide. So it'll be a single PDF document that you can download, and you should be able to work completely from that to access via links online videos on YouTube, either that I'm presenting or that I've used from somewhere else. Because we're only meeting online, and I would like this to be more inclusive of some other sort of thoughts and presentation approaches, because if we had been meeting in person, about half the class would be you guys bringing things in to talk about and sort of soliciting your opinions and listening to me a lot less. And that was what I was hoping for, but that isn't going to work. So now I'll look around. I'll try to look for like industry and advocacy groups doing their outreach and education, because one of the things I want us to get a feel for is the fact that something like the crop insurance industry is a major educator about crop insurance. So they do have an objective to promote the crop insurance industry, but they also have an objective to have people use the crop insurance products in the best way possible and to access government policy the most effectively. Okay, so I want us to go through that so that we can sort of practice our critical thinking and think about which part of this message could be considered sort of pure education and which part might they be overlooking. And one of the ways we'll deal with that is through our discussion and through trying to look at other presentations that might be a little more critical. Yeah, and so that's how we'll do this. But anyway, the main thing is this module guide comes out, and for a week it will probably have some video lectures or presentations. If we get to a place where I think we need to revisit some kind of quantitative approach, there are a few labs left that we haven't done that we could, if they're appropriate. One of those is on inequality and how you might measure that. So if you were concerned not so much about the total number of, or the total income or the average income growing, but you were worried about one of the things we've talked about are sort of the poorest or family farms that aren't that are sort of completely income dependent on agriculture. How are they doing compared to other farms that are diversified and maybe have a large portfolio, and agriculture is a small piece of what they do? So something like that that's on distribution, maybe something we come to. I haven't thought that far ahead. We'll also mix in some readings. So I mean, that's classic for online, is to let you learn in multiple ways instead of just always showing up and listening to someone. So I would imagine it'll be about 2/3 presentation, video, and 1/3 reading dependent. And then we'll have some sort of weekly assessment. Typically, the main part of the weekly assessment, or the sort of part that'll show up in the module guide, will be these online quizzes. So the quiz questions will be given to you in the module guide. You read through it, and you can just mark your answers to the quizzes as you go. And then when you finish everything in the module, just be sure you go online into Blackboard and just put your answers in. And you can see those Blackboard quizzes. The due dates will always be the very end of the module for all of the quizzes. Most of the quizzes will give you at least 2 chances to take them. So if you miss something, you could go through and input all your answers to the quizzes once and see the ones you missed. Go back to the material, try to find where something's correct to be correct. Whatever. I think most of them only have 2 pretty good answers, so you may just want to switch your answer to the other logical choice. So I'll leave it up to you. But that's how we'll monitor effective learning at this point. And then the other thing we'll do is, at the end of the module, probably the last day that the module's open, I'll open up a discussion forum that has some discussion questions, and I'll ask you to give me some input. So try to synthesize some of the things that you have just encountered. Obviously, you could complement that with your own opinion. You'll see the kind of questions I want to ask. One of those will be coming up this week for the first module on crop insurance. And, is there a responsibility for the industry to look at some of the critiques that have been made about sort of the distribution of returns, specifically some of the Great Plains states getting very large returns on crop insurance, making it almost like a de facto income subsidy rather than a risk management tool. So you'll see the videos from National Crop Insurance. You'll then read the critique about crop insurance and some of those places where the returns to crop insurance are inflated. And then I'll ask, if you work there, 1, how would you respond to that sort of critique? And 2, is there some responsibility to fix that? Is that a hole that the industry should be concerned about? Grading for this class, so March 23rd, that's today. The midterm exam is in the book. It's not in the book, sorry. It's the midterm exam is completed. Everybody submitted one. So we've got that one out of the way. The homeworks and quizzes will continue. I'll log different items into each of these. I'll try to note. I don't think we have any participation discussion points on the current assignment, the current module. They'll all go straight to homeworks and quizzes, but I'll do a mix of those as we go. The main sort of discussion thing will be the 2 groups that haven't done their discussion project yet, and we'll have that later. The final project presentation, though, we can't do what we were going to do. That was supposed to be starting last Friday before spring break. I would give you an overview of what that was going to be. It was basically choose your own topic, and then there would be a couple of small assignments to build you up. You had to find your own sort of reading, and then eventually find your own sort of position, and then I would look through everyone and put you in groups, and then the last sort of 3 weeks you'd have to come up with a presentation to sort of lay out which positions, which policy positions could be advocated for and what the main economics of those were, so that we'd have these little 10-minute presentations during Deb Week, from something like 12 groups. But that's not going to be a way we can finish this class. So instead, we'll do this short position paper. It'll be on a policy topic of your choosing. I shouldn't say exactly on your choosing, because just like before, I'll give you something like a dozen options to work from. They'll all be from the second part of this class. So it'll be a conservation position. It'll be a crop insurance position. I'll give you the ones, and then you will try to use stuff from the first part of the class, as well as stuff from whatever module we were specifically talking about, plus whatever else you want to bring to the table to draft up a short position paper as really an answer to an essay question. The reason I'm limiting you topics is I need to be able to write out the essay question that you're answering, so that I can compare people's performance and compare how well you met that. Plus, you've never written a position paper, so to just give you free reign would not be a good assignment. The discussion leader, so as part of participation in discussion, everybody has to do one turn as a discussion leader as part of a group. There are 2 groups left. I will assign those topics on April 6th. They are going to be, one of them will be on farm size and the way we sort of account for farm size and what comes from that. And then I believe the other one will be on food insecurity and what approaches we have to that. But I'm still pulling the readings together for that one to decide. So you'll have on April 6th, those will go out. On April 20th, fact sheets will go up, and then we'll just handle the discussion through forums. So that's the way we'll have to finish that part. Okay, I think that's most of what we have. Let me cycle through here just a few additional things. If at any time something in the syllabus or that we're doing conflicts with the prior syllabus, so from January, the new one, the amendment overrides what we did, because we are now online. There'll be some things in the January syllabus that we can't do. I have not gone back and edited the old syllabus. I guess that's the only point I'm trying to make there. Plus, the university policy is fluid. We went from one day thinking we would have a couple weeks of online class to before you return, they'd already decided the rest of the semester was going to be online. So I don't know what could happen. But if the university provides additional guidance, that will trump anything that we have said in here. I just want to emphasize we've got to be flexible, and if you enter into some situation, you don't have to be specific to me, but if you probably have to tell me if it's medical illness related versus otherwise, because under one condition, the priority will be to allow you to recover as best possible. Under another one, if it's a technology situation where you are having limited internet or there's some sort of conflict with you being able to finish, you need to let me know so that we can come up with the alternative plan. If you do get sick, I'll just say, take care of yourself. Let me know what you're doing and what your plan is and what you need the plan to be. If it's a technology situation, you need to tell me your constraints so that I can try to think of the best way to accommodate. I know some of us live in spotty internet areas, and I do not want people to incur extra costs on their cell data. If you have a cap on your cell data trying to do this, if it becomes a case where you need you can only do this on weekends or something like that, and you're having trouble finishing with your other stuff, you've got to let me know. And I don't know that I have a great alternative. I've tried to streamline as much of this as I can, and I am not relying on a full 2.5 hours of video each week. So hopefully that will give us a way. but we can work it out, whatever goes on. Then the last one, I know it's going to be difficult, and I do want everyone to be sure that they're taking their sort of health and safety as a priority. It is disappointing because my favorite part of this class is the part after spring break where we basically make it up as we go. I have topics that I want to be sure we've covered, but essentially we were going to have 5 more lectures. I would come in, lecture on a topic, try to relate it back to the economics from the first part, and then through a course of reading or just giving you questions to take home and think about, we were going to talk through things. We were probably going to watch a few videos from outside of our class that we'll still get to see those, but I miss the fact that I'm going to get to hear directly from so many of you because I've really enjoyed it to this point, and I think you all are, just like a lot of our undergraduates, very bright, already accomplished, and ready to start really, taking on these sort of junior leader roles that you're probably going to move into in the industry, and whether intentionally or not, you'll be the sort of shape of policy going forward through your actions, through the way your careers develop inside the industry. You'll be affected by, and you'll be effectors of policy. So I hope we can make it fruitful doing it this way. I know it won't be as fun for me, but maybe it'll be a little more efficient for you. It won't be so random, but that was the part I liked. So we'll just the last thing here I have is just the schedule of topics that we're going to use to finish out. So we have crop insurance, that's the current one. Conservation, so we'll talk about agricultural conservation policies exclusively there, not sort of broader environmental policy and objectives. Then food policies, that will primarily be food assistance policies, but there'll be some other ones that relate. I think given what's going on with coronavirus, we should probably look into food safety regulations, monitoring, those kind of things. So that's one of the ones. I have the first 2 completed. I'm still sort of playing around with the third one, and then we'll look at international trade policies. So because one of the major sort of food policies is international food assistance and promotion of agricultural development in other countries, but we'll also look at trade and sort of the tariff stuff. And then finally, we'll close out with ag policy institutions. That'll be sort of we've talked about government plenty, but we should talk about who works with the government, who helps shape policy. How does business, how does industry, how do farm organizations, how does Farm Bureau, how do they sort of make their voices heard, and which ones are strong, which ones are purely sort of lobby advocacy voices, and which ones try to maintain this sort of what we might call think tank or objective analysis, sort of looking at government efficiency. So we'll talk through some of those. I've always done that unit at the end, and I think we can do it online. So that'll be good. I think that's the end of this. So a little longer than I meant to be. I was trying to go for 15 minutes, but I hope this sort of set you at ease. And if you have any questions, it's time to reach out and let me know what concerns or questions you have. Again, the goal is every one of these dates, you'll get one. You'll see a new item posted on Blackboard, but there'll also be a document that you can just download the PDF of. It should have all the links to anything that you have to watch, anything you have to read, and anything that you have to and it'll have all the questions for the quizzes, and then at the end you'll want to go on Blackboard and input your quiz answers. And then just follow the Blackboard for the class. If there's an intermittent assignment or something like on April 6th where the discussion topics those will come out through the Blackboard announcement tool, and then they will get items posted on Blackboard. So that's going to be our hub for the rest of the time. And again, I'm sorry I won't be seeing you again in class, but I hope we can make something useful out of this. So thanks.